Hey guys, so on Monday, today's Friday, I've been asked to do my very first funeral flowers. So we're doing a little spray. It's nothing gonna be too big because that's what their family requested. But I think it's such an honor that people and the community have reached out and asked me to do this. So as you know, what I try and do with all my flowers is make everything as sustainable and biodegradable as possible, which can be a challenge when we start looking at events really. So what I'm going to do, I'm down the street at the moment, is try and find, been watching some videos and I'm thinking like a bamboo tray, which will be my base, and I can use that to fill with my moss and the floral biodegradable wool we use. And I'm even thinking some rocks or pebbles to help weigh that down, because the worst thing you want is any slippage on a coffin. So I'm just going to go down the street and see what I can find. But anyway, I just thought it'd be a wonderful opportunity for you guys to come with me on that little journey. So I'm just in IGA and I just found palm leaf serving trays. So they're 100% sustainable, biodegradable, compostable. Yeah, perfect for what we want for our funeral sprays. So good on you, IGA. So we're in my vat room studio and I've got some lovely foliage which has come from a local flower farm. So we've got copper glow, baby blue, eucalyptus, and we've got this, she told me what it's called and I can't remember, but it's kind of this waxy, small leafed. It's really that really autumn toned gorgeousness. We've got the tray like we talked about, the palm leaf tray, and we've got our rock wool. So this is made from a rock which is spun at high temperature, and they put a binding agent in which is fully biodegradable. We can't call it a biodegradable product though, because obviously rock doesn't biodegrade in nature, but it is 100% sustainable. And that's going to sit in our first frame, on our frame, so we're plastic free. And I'm going to, once this is soaked, I'm going to bind it to it and then maybe even use some chicken wire if needed. So I've got some attachment points. I've got in my flower bucket some just 100% rainwater. There's nothing else in there. It's for funeral. It doesn't lay to last 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm just going to pop that in, let it naturally soak up the water. So if we were to put a hand in and push it down into the water and make it fill up quickly, we're going to get air trapped inside there, and we don't want that obviously, because when the flowers and the foliage are soaking up water, we want them to be doing it in a natural way. So I'm just going to let that sit there. It will sink down over the next 10 to 15 minutes. And whilst that is happening, we're going to go and start picking a few more bits from the garden and start our flowers. So you can come with me. So I'm just on the roadside from where we live, about 5 minutes down the road, and we've got this Commandra, which is from New South Wales, but it's around everywhere now. And you can just see it's just coming into flower. It's got these gorgeous textural blooms. I just thought they'd be really nice to put a couple of sprays coming out of the arrangement. So I'm just going to pick some of these now and we'll come back. So just look how full that can be with about 6 stems. So you never know what treasures you're going to find just by scouting around on the roadside. Obviously we never go into private property, but these are all on the nature side or the roadside as such, in the hedgerows. And we're very lucky to live where we are. So we're just going to go around the corner and see if we can find some peppercorn too. So again, just on one of the dirt tracks, I've just found this really nice old peppercorn tree, and it just gives some nice long straight stems, which if you're creating your bunch and you want something, or your arrangement, and you want that bit of escapism coming out, this is perfect. Now I would say this one is a male because we can't see any berries, so they do have male female, and the female are the ones which give us the berries. Got a few flowers in there. Oh, I'll get a couple of stems of this too. I'm not even sure what this is called, but I just spotted it as I was driving past. I thought I just love the lime green touch on the ends, so I thought I'd grab a bit of this too. So it's dead in the middle of winter. It's the middle of July, and we're on that dirty side of the farm because this is where life happens. But there's still so much colour around it. When you go and look for things, it's amazing what you can find. Over the back here we've got this really nice ornary coloured stylus. I'm just going to try and see if we can get some. Still got a bit of flowers in it. And it'll look really nice with the colour scheme we're going with. I'm just going to steal some of these early John also going to try and find some lilies as well. So we've got some of the green goddess arum lilies. I think they could look really good in this arrangement as well. I'm just going to get some sweet williams because in the middle of the winter they're putting on a bit of a show at the moment. We've got some nice long stems, so they'll be quite good as well. I just love some of these burgundies. Then finally I'm just going to try and get some of these white scabiosas. I haven't got too many which are right for picking, but if I get 3 or 4 or 5 I'll be happy. So now we've got our flowers conditioned and prepped, and we're just going to let them sit there and hydrate for a couple of minutes. I'm going to take my brick out. Now, how much I weight it does kind of hold excess water. So I'm just going to sit it on the side here, slightly tipped inwards, and let it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes just to get any of the excess water dribbled out of it. Sometimes you have to turn it around a few times like so. You don't want any water getting out onto the coffin, do we? What I'm going to do is cut enough of this third wire off to coat one of these. So effectively when I wrap it up nicely, we can poke all of our flowers into it. Do it on a bit of newspaper to begin with, so that will help absorb any excess moisture which comes out well, because I want this to be on, not tight, but enough it's not going to go anywhere, and I can really use it to help anchor the flowers to it. And then I'm going to anchor this down so it can't go anywhere with this wire which is covered in like a paper almost. Covered in paper, sorry. My next stage, because I don't want to see any of these mechanics shining through, so I'm just going to put a bit of moss around the outside. I want to have it kind of flowing just off the side, so it kind of covers this edge up a bit, which is what the main goal of mine was. There we have it, we're ready to start with our mechanics. So if we think about this from a sustainable point of view, the wire's going to break down really, really quickly. Obviously the floral paper on top, that's going to be gone in a couple of days. This will break down organically in the soil. All that's going to get left behind is the rock part of this, which will then become like a dust. Your paperboard's going to last probably about 3 to 6 months to start to disintegrate. Remember, that's made out of palm leaf. And our moss obviously is a living product. Chicken wire is probably the most less biodegradable option. It will rust away eventually, but if that's left over and you can access it easily, you can easily put that into the into the recycling bin, and it can be recycled. Now, I always keep all of this from my moss because I'm trying to set up an area where I can put it and let it grow, and there'll be little nice spores in there to keep it going. So let's get on with the fun part. Now remember, this is the size of this spray. We're not going much out the box. I'm probably going to stick to about the size of this paper. So this is a good visual guide as well. So I'm going to start with some focal, and I want to make sure some foliage, and we're going to make sure from the sides we're going to see interest, because ultimately when you're at a church or wherever the funeral's being held, the casket's usually quite high, and obviously we want some colour and everything on top, but you want the interest to be around the sides too, because that's what's going to draw the eye. So I'm going to start with the overall shape. I'm thinking I'll start with my bottle brush. That's not bottle brush. Start with my peppercorn, and I've just lost my snips, as everybody you do. So I want it's not going to extend too far out, so I'm probably going to go even. I might trim this down a bit. Snip up of the ends, which aren't really giving me much. Come here. Bottom. Working with the floral wool can be a bit more difficult to get things in than you would expect with traditional oasis. So it does help to have a bit of a point on your foliage, but also sometimes to have a meat skewer. And we can almost set them up like so and thread them in. Kind of working around. I was making a diamond shape at the moment. Enough of the peppercorn. Just one more bit. The good thing about foliage, you can break it into sections almost. And as long as we trim out near the top, we've still got something in there. By the time we put it in, wave other things around with him. Right. I'm going to fluff through with some of this now, which is going to help fill in. We'll trim off some of these side shoots. They can fill in anything in. Again on this side I'm having a bit of difficulty, so I'm just going to get in there, wiggle around a bit, create that first little entry point. So it's certainly harder to work with than traditional floral wool, but I think persevering with the end goal of what we're trying to achieve, look after the environment, is worth it in my book. Certainly it's the sides where I seem to have more difficulty getting this to play the game. And there we go. Now I've got my all-time favourite. You weren't there with me when I was making this, but this is silky oak, and I just love the textural wavy elements it gives me. Even just breaking up a couple of leaves like so. Put 1, 2, 3 in there. I'm going to get a bit of nice floral wire. I think it's I reckon this is 22. Try and get them all kind of facing nicely. Like so. And these don't even need to be in water, they'll last fine, so I'm just going to push them together, come up, do a little mini hairpin tie or a little twist. Wrap them together a few times. And I want to leave a bit at the bottom to actually poke into the base with. That'll help secure them too, so we're just going to bring them in down around here, so I think. Like that. This one's been a bit stubborn, so you can see, I don't know if you can see, I've just fed it through a bit of that excess wire too. No reason to leave it on there, so I can pull it in and just wrap it round a bit of that textural wire at the bottom and just anchor it in place. Make it a bit more secure. Then we can just do 2 more in here, fluff out, and we'll move on to the next bit of foliage. wiggle and shake too, because this has got to move around and be transported a bit too. And look, nothing's coming out of that. We're looking quite good. And from the side, you can barely even see the mechanics unless I tilt it, which is just what we want. So, next. We're going to use some of this gorgeous autumn toned, whatever it's called. So this comes from our farm just up the road, Broken Creek Flowers. So I can see the shine, catch the light. It's also an interesting trick. I'll keep these sideways for a moment, and I want to go with the bushy stuff to begin with. Now what I'm going to do is start covering this part in the middle with some low foliage, so it's going to create like a bed. So when I start to bring in the focal bits, we can bring them in higher and the base is already covered. I think we might use the first of our copper glow for this. Good colour tones. We can get quite up that reddish tinge. Just break up some of these things. Amazing how you can get something like that go straight in, and the next one you're fighting through just where the fibres are. Now, I've got a big gap in here I've noticed as we're going around. I might put a bit of this just down the side, some more of the coppery glow. Some of this fake glue, and it can be quite attractive. A bit of textural interest. That's the way the flowers want to go, because I'm going to get some textural. If I do it that way, it's just going to point down in this thing, but if I bring him up, I'm going to get this natural height. So there's a bit of a gap on this corner I saw. I'm just going to try and bring them like so in there. See? Start to bring that gap there. A little bit of a gap this side too, I don't like. Going on like a single piece again. Make a spray. At this point, I'm just going to wiggle the test. Just make that. going to spin it around. Because obviously if you're working from the same side constantly, you not get to see the 360 evaluation, and you can you get top heavy on the side your eyes are actually drawn to. So I do like to come back out this side. I'm going to see where I'm at. Just a few bits I'm going to fill in here. First stem's getting a bit thick. These side bits on. Everyone, I'm going to start adding some foliage. Some flowers actually. So, should get in there. Side, because remember we want to have that interest from the sides. Go come in a bit here. That's where it wants to be. This one can form upwards. Find the spot sometimes once you start following there. Now these are going to be interesting because I do want to encapsulate them in, but I'm going to need something. Now I'll show I've got any skewers here. So because you can see some of these lilies are quite large stemmed, I'm going to actually use some old bits of fencing wire to string them there. I'm going to use some old bits of fencing wire to string in the middle, and that will help anchor them and give me the angulation I want. They don't need to be in water because it's a funeral. They're going to be hydrated overnight. These have been quite well hydrated. We're in the middle of winter, and they hold really well. But do test any products you're going to try this. We may be able to get some into the water. So I'm just going to come in and feed as much as I can. Straight up. He's always trying to stay in the middle, not come out. There we go, like so. Wire cutters, I might even need better wire cutters than this, we'll see. I might have actually paid to cut some of these stems first, because they only want them to come out of, say, yeah, much out of the arrangement. I'm still going to get them in so they're actually sitting right up against the sponge, because that's going to help them wick at least a bit of moisture up there too. that's kind of falling downwards. I've just come back in and actually found where the next wire cross was, and I'm just actually above the mechanics inside on the chicken wire, so that it's actually support that up as well. Bring these other two in, also from this side. Do the same. Right, and it's time to come in with some these jonquils. Just look how gorgeous they are. I'm not going to come into the same, but bring them in slightly this way. Yeah, they're going to need to be pre-dibbled. Quite soft stems, and I may even benefit from using a little bit of floral wire. Try and just wrap it around until we get them in. That might just help support them a bit as we have to angle it and shit. So I've got them two together right here. So I've got this guy and this guy. I actually don't want that there, so I'm just going to clean back out. Because my vision was more in here. But it's a bit tight to try and find a spot at the minute. There we go. I really wasn't sure about these, but they do bring a bit of colour in. At this point I think I've got only really white left, and I still need something little in here, and I want to put a bit more of these Wheat Williams just around the side. So I'm just going to run down the paddock, get some more, and we'll come back. So the joys of being on a flower farm is you can just run down the paddock and look at this, middle of winter. We're just picking carnations. I've got some roses there. I'm going to need a bit of tidying up. Another one of those calendulas, because I saw a little gap before, and I think we're nearly done. I'm adding out white scents. So I kind of thought these Sweet Williams for the sides, just so we can bring that flower foliage down into the canopy, so people who are sitting lower than the coffin as such still get some interest to look at in the arrangement. What did I do with my scissors this time? I don't think it's just me, but floral scissors are 10 a penny, Dave. They they vanish. The hardest bit this one is so dense. Trying to find an inlet spot. Quite difficult in this flower wool. Gap just down the bottom here. I can still see my tray, so I'm just gonna go along here. Right, I think we're done. Come in there with these 2 whites. This side. So I'm just going to have a quick tidy up, and then we'll come back and have a look at different angles and if there's any fluffiness I need to put in just to cover any gaps. But there we have it.